What's up, everybody? It's Patrick with Light Source Engraving. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. Returning viewers, thank you as always. Now today I have a fun one for you diode laser users. I said I was going to look and see if I could find a method that I could repeat what I did with the UV laser with the diode laser. Well, I found two methods for you. So let me just show you the settings that I'm going to run in both situations. I'll show you some video of it. Once we get through some footage of the engrave, I'll show you exactly what I do to process the tile and then get the collar onto the tile. And as a special bonus, I'm going to give you the Lightburn library that I'm using today. It's some crocheted Christmas frogs, so you can use those for Christmas decorations. That's all I have for the intro. Let's just jump into Lightburn and I'll show you the library and I'll show you my settings, what I'm going to run for these two different methods. Okay, we're over here in Lightburn, and here is the first graphic that you will be receiving. There's a second, a crocheted frog making some cookies. The third, a crocheted frog ice skating. A crocheted frog wrapping gifts. And the frog making a snowman that also looks like a frog. So what I'm working with is this particular graphic, and the settings that I'm going to run, and this will vary by laser, and it could vary with your laser even if you have the same one that I do, but I'm running 5,000 millimeters per minute at 90% power with air on, bidirectional, 5% overscanning, line interval of 0.06, and just on one single pass, filling all shapes at once, so it goes back and forth across the whole tile. That runs faster than individually, and that's it for the settings. The first tile that you will see running is going to be a tile that has been coated with one particular substance. The second is another particular substance, neither of which are Rust-Oleum spray paint. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the footage, and I'll explain the process that I used while the footage is running. Alright folks, what we have here is a white tile that has been spray painted with black Tempera paint. That is the washable paint often found in the toy section of your local supercenter. But I sprayed a nice even coating with a cheap air sprayer and then let it dry. I actually helped it dry by using a heat gun. So you can use a heat gun to help it dry. You do not want it wet while the job is running. The air assist from the laser will blow that wet stuff everywhere and make a mess for you. Yeah, it is washable, but you still create more work for yourself. So make sure it's completely dry. And I'm going to leave a link in the description that will show you how I spray my tile, in this case, or glass when I use Tempera paint to mark glass. So check out that link, and that'll get you started using a paint sprayer for etching glass and tile. All right, the first thing we need to do is rinse this Tempera paint off. So what I'm using is a ratty old magic eraser, and that works good enough to help get it scrubbed off of there. It comes off pretty easy, not too much effort required. Once we get the tempera paint off, it is time to use some more folk art wood dye. Just quickly wipe it on, let it penetrate into the surface where the glaze has been etched away. Then grab a clean paper towel and wipe it right off. And that's all there is to it. So the first substance that I'm using is regular blue painter's tape. And I wanted to give it a try to see how it did, because I know in a recent video, Hobo with Wood had used a different type of tape to do some engraving on glass, and I thought I would try some blue painter's tape and see how it did on the ceramic. It does a pretty good job. I think the settings need to be slowed down a little bit from the settings that I supplied. So if I were to run this again, I would probably run it at maybe 4,000 and see how that turned out, to see if it would bring out a little bit more detail in the final engrave. But overall, not too bad. Great for a first test, and at least that gives us a place to start so we can work on finding something that might work even better, or settings that work even better. What I've found, there are two ways that you can remove this tape. You can peel it off and then scrape it without adding the alcohol, and then add alcohol after the fact and remove the last little bits of glue and tape. Or you can just spray the whole thing at once and just kind of go at it like a Neanderthal and scrape the whole thing away. So I chose method 2 for on-camera purposes, just so I could do everything pretty quickly. And then I just wipe it off with a paper towel and the alcohol. So here I'm just using a shop towel to give it a final clean, get the goo off of it, and then it is ready for the next step. Now we are ready to add the dye. And what I'm using today is a wood dye from Folk Art. That is one of the purple shades. And I just added a little bit directly to the tile. Use a little piece of paper towel to spread it around, make sure it gets in all the spots where the glaze has been engraved away. Once it sets in there, this just takes a couple seconds, really, and it's ready to wipe off. And again, I'll refer you to my video on acrylic pens. Those need to dry completely, then you can wipe them off, otherwise the colors will bleed. But if you're just doing a single color, it doesn't need to dry, just immediately wipe it off. And now, how about a view of the two completed tiles? I'll zoom in here a little bit and kind of pan around so you can see it in the different light. Overall, those don't look too bad. And that's it for that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's zoom in on these guys again. See, different camera gives different results. So here is the one done with the tape. Yeah, that's better. And here is the one done with the tempera paint. that washes off so easily. And here they are side by side, each with a different shade of dye. I think they both look acceptable. I'm very happy with those, but at least this will give you a point to start your journey engraving tiles and then color filling them with either dye, any kind of dye, or acrylic paint pens. Now, I already did a video on the acrylic paint pens. I'll link that down below, so check it out, and I'll show you how I used acrylic paint pens to color fill those tiles and get multiple colors to create a nice little image. But thank you, patrons, for your support. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you, channel members. I appreciate you, and everyone watching, of course. It's always appreciated, especially when you click that thumbs up button and subscribe. But enough of that. Most importantly, everyone, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and the coupon code, it's FROG. Easy to remember, huh? Remember, coupon code FROG, and you get the